into the game plan. Game plan discipline is something that's so big for Kurt Miller. And so kind of flipping the switch on what happened against Liberty and now getting ready for this Minnesota team.
The Sun went 1-2 against the Minnesota Lynx last year, but the win last year came in their last meeting at Minnesota. It came in a part of the season where the Sun were starting to establish themselves as a force to be reckoned with in this league.
Yeah, and also the first home loss of the season for the Minnesota Lynx, who had been so tremendous and had such an excellent start at the Target Center. So a lot of fun to see these teams match up once again.
And we are ready to go on a beautiful day in Connecticut. We tip it off inside the Mohegan Sun, and the Connecticut Sun win the opening tip. They are in the orange uniforms. They are home for the first time in a while, first time in a couple of weeks. Jonquel Jones is fouled.
And that's what we're going to see out of the Lynx team. You saw how quickly Maya Moore slides over into help and is ready there for Jonquel Jones. And I love that pick and roll right off the bat, because Jonquel Jones comes up and brings Sylvia Fowles away from the basket. And she is such an excellent rim protector, has such a presence around the rim. So anytime you can pull her away from the basket is a big help for your offense.
So off of the Maya Moore foul, the Sun set it up again. Alyssa Thomas off of the spin. And the rebound is taken down by Rebecca Brunson. Here is Lindsay Whalen. Started her career here in Connecticut.
Do we have to call her Coach Whalen now, or?
Well, I know there are some players in Minnesota that have to. And the first points of the game belong to the Minnesota Lynx.
How do you like that, Rebecca Brunson? I mean, she last year shot nearly 35% from three, but coming into the year had just taken 12 three-point attempts. Big factor for how she's improved her game.
Well, the Sun have a quick answer. Jasmine Thomas. Brunson hit the big three the other night in their win at Washington. That runner by Fowles knocked away. The Sun have it back as Thomas pushes ahead, and Whalen, acting as a free safety, picks that one off cleanly. And the veteran point guard brings him to the front court. Fowles sets the screen. Here comes Augustus. Fowles rolls to the side, and crowd wanted a traveling violation as the shot clock is under 10. Moore steps into the jumper, rims in and out.
Well, speaking of what the crowd wanted, but that was an excellent job of Chinea Gwumake just beating Fowles to the spot. And sometimes if you don't have the size against her, it's about your foot quickness and being in position before she gets there.
So the Sun look to take their first lead here today as Thomas spins over Moore. Off of the mark on the shot, and Whalen pulls down the rebound. Alyssa had 11 points and 9 rebounds in the win at New York on Thursday night at the Westchester County Center. Here's Augustus. Tough shot in the lane, but Gwumake has the rebound. And Sarah, as you said, the battle of the boards in this game is going to be one of the huge keys today as Jonquel Jones misfires on the three, and Alyssa Thomas an offensive rebound. Have it, but with only 3 seconds to shoot.
And that's where the Minnesota Lynx, they have active hands, and you saw there the way in which they clog the lane. They're going to take up a lot of room in the paint, but they're always looking for those strips and swipes.
Williams had to shoot it quickly off of the misfires, deflected, and a nice save there by the always hustling Maya Moore. So the early buckets stand, the only ones in this game. One for Rebecca Brunson, one for Thomas, Jasmine Thomas, and the Sun down one as Brunson sets up on top. Gives for Moore. Shot clock is down to 5, so Moore fires. Courtney Williams the rebound.
An excellent job with Alyssa Thomas and Chinea Gwumake. Those switches off the ball screens, they are so versatile in how they can defend different personnel.
Courtney Williams steps back and nails a long two over Sylvia Fowles.
Love to see that go through early for Courtney Williams. We know the explosiveness she brings. She loves the baseline shot, and she really brings such a spark to this offense.
Fowles at position, still has it, and misses the layup. Gwumake on the rebound. Thomas looks to push. The Lynx get back. Thomas for a rolling of Gwumake right to the hole. And on the putback, Jonquel Jones cleans it up, and the Sun lead it by 3.
Beautiful follow by Jonquel Jones, but what quickness in that pick and roll and the pass between Jasmine Thomas to Agumake. And that's why this Sun team, they have such balance that they bring. You got to make sure to respect all different players on the floor, because everyone can be a threat with the ball in their hands.
And a good sign early for the Sun against the best defensive rebounding team in the league. They already have a couple of offensive rebounds in this one.
And that's going to be important. And for the Sun, we talk about the Lynx being the best defensive rebounding team in the league, but Connecticut Sun also rebounding percentage, the available rebounds, they are tops, and they're active. They've got a lot of athleticism, a lot of youth on this roster. So for Connecticut Sun, it's all going to be about finding bodies, making sure to gang rebound, making sure that when a shot goes up, they're in different positions, because Sylvia Fowles, Simone Augustus, Rebecca Brunson, they are menacing forces around the paint.
Maya Moore ties the game with the 3. Both buckets in this game for Minnesota are 3-pointers, and that's not their game. They've got a couple early. Foul on Minnesota. The Lynx average only a little more than 5 made 3-pointers per game. That's 10th overall in the 12-team league.
And the Lynx are interesting because coming into last season, they never shot many threes. As to your point, Bob, it wasn't a part of their game, but they were always highly efficient from the three-point line. They wanted to take more last season.
If you want efficiency, check out Courtney Williams right now.
She knows how to get to her spot. She got such a quick release. And this is going to be an interesting matchup. Her quickness and the size of Augustus as we see her knock down.
Yeah, Simone Augustus knocks down the jumper. She had 16 points in the win at Washington on Thursday. Ties this game at 8. Ball gets deflected out of bounds. It'll belong to Connecticut. First substitution of the game for Minnesota. And it'll be Tanisha Wright, new member of the Lynx. Replaces Augustus. The core remains for Minnesota, but they've had a lot of turnover as far as their reserves are concerned.
And that's where it's interesting. They have 8 of their players back from the 12-man roster that finished the season last season.
As Courtney Williams remains on fire from outside. She has 6 of the first 10 for the Sun.
But such a big aspect. We talk so much about the core and the starters, but a big aspect of them winning the title last year was their second unit, bench. And so now these different players are figuring out how to fit in. A player like Tanisha Wright, who rested last season and signed here with the Lynx, she has the ability to go off. Danielle Robinson, defensive presence, but she can start to get more comfortable and someone you got to pay attention to.
When we come back, it'll be Jasmine Thomas going to the line for a couple of free throws. The Sun lead it by 2, and we're back after this. This is the third game of a 3-game road trip for the Minnesota Lynx. They were in Washington the other day, and as the defending champions did not get the traditional White House invitation, Sarah, but they made the best of their off day in D.C., did a day of service, as they called it. What a great job they did.
Even better idea, and you watch what these women did at a community event at Payne Elementary, where they hosted Samaritan's Feet Shoes of Hope distribution, and just seeing the look. I watched a lot of this, and you see things on Twitter and social media, the looks on these kids' faces and how much they appreciate it. And of course, with so many of these players across the WNBA and all teams, the good that they do in their community and understanding just how important that is, giving back. And as we all know, sometimes that means more to you to be able to make an impact in that way. And these players are just so special in what they do to really make a difference.
And they turned it into such a positive moment for them and for the league. What a great reflection on the Lynx and the WNBA. Jasmine Thomas hit a couple of free throws. The Sun have their largest lead. It's 4. Here is more driving, off-balance shot. We're going to have a loose ball foul. Let's see which way we're going. This will go against Connecticut. Shanae Agumake reacting as if they got her. We'll see. Yep. First on Shanae. Each team has 3 team fouls. Shelly Zandalicini is into the game now for the Lynx. First time we'll see her. A couple of European rookies on this team. Actually, no, I beg your pardon. This is her second year. Beg your pardon. The Other rookies out of France, Indy Mian.
Just 22 years old and out of Italy. She's got a good amount of talent that she brings.
Nice job by Fouls. Reset Moore. Another offensive rebound. Tanisha Wright keeps it alive. Janda Lucini had a good look. Alyssa Thomas. Tough rebound in traffic. Sun by 4. Good look for Alex Bentley in the game now. Misses her first shot. Rebound tipped around. Janda Lucini. Nice pass ahead for Alexis Jones and kisses it in off of the glass.
Minnesota doesn't look to run a lot, but they are opportunistic when you do. You saw the quick leak out by Alexis Jones. Her second year in the league out of Baylor. She got so many different tools offensively. But she's a smart player, and she's getting more comfortable with the game, what she can do, the playing time that she's able to have.
Possession Minnesota. Kurt Miller didn't like that call as it goes back to the Lynx. They're down 2, looking to tie this game. We'll see the Lynx twice this year in Connecticut. Jones working down the lane. Blue pass Thomas, and Alexis Jones showing off some pretty good acceleration there to tie the game at 12.
Excellent acceleration. She's got strength, physicality. Jasmine Thomas did a good job of fighting over that screen of fouls, but it allowed just enough room for Jones to have a step as she turned the corner.
Thomas on Janda Lucini, and then Fouls comes over, and the rejection of Alyssa Thomas. Jones, good pass for streaking Moore, gives the Lynx the lead.
And there you saw the leak out once again. As soon as there's a rebound, a block, there's a player running out, Maya Moore and Sylvia Fouls. This Lynx team does an excellent job getting their eyes up and advancing the ball quickly through the pass.
An injection of energy off of the bench here for Minnesota. As Courtney Williams hits another tough long jumper. She has 8 points, and each of her buckets have come from long distance 2-point variety.
I think they've come from that same spot, it seems, but she is so smooth. And you always got to be careful because she can catch and shoot, she can shoot off the dribble, and she can get to the basket.
Janda Lucini on Bentley, tried to stay with her. Alex Bentley giving away a lot of size in that switch, and get another look.
And Alex Bentley does get her in the arm. To your point about the size, Bentley does a nice job of moving her feet, of making sure to maintain position between man and the basket. But as Janda Lucini was coming up with the ball, just gets her in that forearm.
First here is good. So the Lynx have the lead. We've had 4 ties in this game.
Well, and we talked to Kurt Miller prior to the game, and in referencing why the Sun have had good matchups, have voted well against this elite Lynx team. He said, we just grind with them. We grind with them, we stay with them. We don't allow them to go on too much of a run, and then we try to have one of our own. It's very much what we're seeing here in the first quarter, the back and forth. Minnesota dictating the tempo quite a bit, turning it into more of a half-court game.
There's Bentley driving, scooping. She'll go to the line to shoot a pair. Thursday's hero, Shakina Strickland, is on the floor now for Connecticut as you get another look here at Bentley.
Well, Bentley lowers her shoulder, gets past Jones, and meets a familiar friend in Lynetta Kaiser, a Connecticut Sun member last season, signed with the Lynx as a free agent this year, and did a solid job, struggled with some back issues, so only had an opportunity to play in a career low 20 games for the Sun, but of course a well-liked member of the crew.
Yeah, Kaiser, former college teammate of Alyssa Thomas's. Thomas on the bench right now for the Sun, but they know each other going way back. Teammates last year. This year, Kaiser dressing up in the road blue of the Lynx. Bentley hits a pair, and we're tied again. Closely fought game here in the opening quarter, exactly what we expected. Is right. Janda Lucini took the pass, and a reach-in foul called on another player who just checked in for the Sun. Morgan Tuck in the game, and she picks up a quick foul.
And that's part of what makes the Minnesota Lynx so good. They have this bench unit coming in, and we see Kurt Miller talking to his staff, but the actions that they run, and they don't just settle for the first option, the second option. And this is a lot of what we see out of the Sun too, but on the strong side, the screen, the re-screen, a pin down, and then they move it to the opposite side of the floor. And that's why you always have to be on your toes. You can't relax throughout the course of a possession, because they will continue to run actions until they get a look that they like.
Couple for Xander Lucini, and the tie is broken again. Under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. Sun trying to remain perfect at home. They're 3-0 in the Mohegan Sun Arena. The Lynx are 2-3 on the road this year. Bentley, difficult shot, misses everything. Rebound taken down by Kaiser. Here is Wright driving, scooping, laying it through. 4-point lead for the Lynx.
Tanisha Wright's in attack mode. Coming off of a good game for her. 13 points against Washington in that win, and she's got a lot of confidence, you can tell.
Strickland defended well on the perimeter. Here's Jones off of the screen. She rolled, and she'll go to the line to shoot a pair. Talking about Tanisha Wright. Took the year off last year, and she's a great get for this Minnesota team. You know that she's going to fit into this program real smoothly.
And we see what she's done offensively, but you forget, you mentioned she sat out last year. In 2016, though, she was on the all-defensive second team. It was the 7th time in her career that she made an all-defensive team. So she fits into what the Lynx do. They're a defensive-minded team. They lock you down, try to lock you down on that end of the floor. And so far, she, too, is fitting into what Minnesota is trying to do, working their way. And that's why, for all those talking about the Lynx record early on, Cheryl Reeve had said, if you're going to hit the panic button this early, that's stupid. We got the talent. We've got the championship pedigree. We understand we're going to figure things out. It's still early in the season.
There is the rookie out of France, a 30-year-old rookie. Andy Mia missing the shot, resulted in a rebound that the Lynx couldn't take advantage of, and the Sun have it back. 41 seconds to go in this opening quarter. Williams driving, scooping, missing too hard. Xander Lucini had an impact first quarter here for the Lynx off of the bench. Alexis Jones to Kaiser, puts on the brakes. Jones again. And that's a great look out there for Wright. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Lynx. 2-point game. 22 seconds to go in this opening quarter. It's been a good one.
It's been an excellent one. If you're the Connecticut Sun, you can take your time, make sure that you're moving and passing the ball to run out this shot clock and get the best available look.
So the Sun counting it down here, trying to score to close out this opening quarter. Courtney Williams has 8 points, looking for 10, and she's got it to tie this game with 2 seconds to go in the first quarter. As Alexis Jones gets off the shot, it is off of the mark, and very appropriately we end the first quarter all tied. Our 6th tie of the day. We're back with the second quarter after this. 2 lead changes, 6 ties, and we are tied as we get ready to start the second quarter. Now you have a Minnesota team today, Sarah, that is loaded with all-stars and Olympians, and the Sun are loaded as well. But you look and you see the scoring for the Sun is very much balanced across the board.
I absolutely love this. And you look at the numbers, you look at the balanced scoring. This is indicative of exactly what Kurt Miller has put together for this group, how he's fit together pieces that can find one another. It comes down to unselfishness. It comes down to the mentality and the attitude, but also just the way that they move the basketball. Bodies move, they do an incredible job of finding their open teammate, and it's that push to not take the good shot but look for the great shot, and that's been instilled in them. And these players are fun to watch because they understand how to play the game the right way.
Akwumike went over the back. That's 2 on Cheney. She looks over at the bench, and indeed she'll sprint over and take a seat. And here's Jonquel Jones back in the game. Reiterating a point you made earlier, this is going to be an interesting chess game between two of the great coaches in this league as they sub in and sub out, find the right combinations. Moving parts out there today. Tough jumper there by Alexis Jones. Gives the Lynx the lead again.
She could score. And even though her numbers haven't shown that, she's had a few big games. She had a big game, 10-point game against the Los Angeles Sparks in LA. She's got the potential to go off.
No threes in this game for the Sun. Well, maybe now. Strickland puts it up, and she almost had what is becoming her specialty.
She could
4-point plus.
trademark that. But for Shekinna Strickland, it's a good look at a shot. That's a high contest with the arms and the length of Sylvia Fowles.
Well, they call this foul on the floor. So it'll be a side out of bounds for the Sun. Down by 2. Bentley. That's a good look for Williams. The 3 is good. She's hitting long 2s, and now finally she has a long 3. Courtney Williams now has 13 for the Sun.
And Bob, you bring up an excellent point about the low number of three-point attempts for the Sun, but they've done a good job of pounding it inside. They really made the defense collapse in that first quarter. They had a bunch of points in the paint, but it was all about working to get inside, and now that's loosened up the defense around the perimeter, and we've seen some good looks here from the three-point line, and that's exactly what you want, that variety, mixing up the defense and keeping them on their toes.
So that Williams 3 was the first of the game for the Sun, who lead the league in three-pointers made. That's a nice steal by Moore. She's had a few of those in her career. She ambles into the front court. Three doesn't go down. Scramble, fouls on it, and it's poked loose. Tuck leading the way is for Strickland. Kick out Bentley. Good look. Arcing 3. Jones on the rebound, and it's stripped out of her hands by Fowles. Physical sequence there. And at the other end, a possible three-point play coming up for Alexis Jones.
Well, you said the word physical. And the physicality of this Minnesota Lynx team doesn't always translate to watching on the screen, but the vision up court to Maya Moore, and Alexis Jones realizes that she's got Bentley trailing her, so she slows up because she wants to embrace that contact, looking for the and one, and that's really the mindset of this entire Minnesota team, and they get into you offensively. They're looking to initiate contact, but also more than anything defensively, as we saw Fowles going after the rebound against Jonquel Jones. They are going to be up in your grill. They're going to be in your body. They are going to make sure you feel them, and that's a big part in how they wear you down.
Bentley the foul. Jones off of the bench already has 9. Jasmine Thomas off of a second chance drives in and ties the game at 25. So 7th tie of this first half. That's the MVP. Fouls. Baby Hook is good, and she just overpowers Jones down low.
Jones has got size, but Sylvia Fowles, her footwork is so fun to watch because she's mastered it. She's continued to work on her game. Speaking of working on her game,
back-to-back buckets for Jasmine Thomas, and another tie. Get a sense we're going to be like this right until the end.
I sure hope so. It'll make it fun for us. I'm not sure Cheryl Reed or Kurt Miller want to see that.
Moore, nice delivery, and then Jonquel Jones was forced to make Fowles earn it from the free throw line. It's actually a good foul. It's the first on Jonquel Jones, and as mentioned, now she makes Fowles get it done from the free throw line. And Sylvia on the season, 71% from the foul line, 5 for 5 in their win the other night at Washington.
And that's where we're seeing Jonquel Jones showing different looks to Sylvia Fowles, and it's what makes her such an incredibly challenging matchup, because you play from behind and she's got the footwork to play with her back to the basket. You try in front her, and she's got a player and teammate in Maya Moore that can put a pass on the dime and make sure she delivers over the top. But She's coming off of a year of which she was the WNBA MVP, #1 in field goal percentage, shooting 65.5%. That's the 4th best ever in league history. And a big part of that is the positioning she gets, the deep positioning she gets.
And then added another piece of hardware to the trophy case, won the MVP of the WNBA Finals. A bad year's work. Thomas off of the glass. Alyssa Thomas gives us yet another tie. We're deadlocked at 29.
Beautiful job by Alyssa Thomas, finding the middle of the paint, just enough room to keep her out of the reach of fouls. She's been finishing so well.
Well, Augustus was looking for fouls, but they miscommunicated. Fouls wasn't looking for the pass, so the turnover on Minnesota gives it back to the Sun, who will try and go back in front here as we approach the midway point of the second quarter in what has been a good one between the league leaders, the Sun, and the defending champions, the Lynx. Foul away from the ball. Got a hold. Tanisha Wright.
And another great job of using that ball screen on the wing between Courtney Williams and Jonquel Jones. The Minnesota Lynx switching that, and I like to see what Tanisha Wright can do against Jonquel Jones. It often will end up in a foul.
Kick out for Jonquel Jones. Well, you know by now, if she can hit that three, and that three-pointer by Jones gives the Sun a 3-point lead. Gets the crowd into it here. Jones defended well, gives for foul. She's double teamed. They move it around on the perimeter. 2 to shoot. Fouls in a double team. Doesn't get off the shot. What a great defensive stand there by the Connecticut Sun. And a big crowd here at the Mohegan Sun Arena likes what they're seeing right now. The Sun lead it by 3. 5:42 to go in the first half. We've had 5 lead changes. We have had 9 ties. The Sun lead the defending champions by 3. Big game for the Sun on a number of different levels. They're trying to gut one out as they play for the 5th time in the 9 days. And also playing a team that you know is going to be there all season long as far as the positioning in the standings is concerned. Obviously, these two teams are going to be right in the mix.
Hey, they are the defending champions. It's their 4th title in the last 7 years. I mean, the Minnesota Lynx are a team that you gauge yourself by, and given the fact they've had a bit of a slow start, 3-5 record coming off of a win but had lost 4 straight, you know that they are motivated, they're ready to come at you, but the Sun have done an excellent job, particularly on the defensive end.
They just forced a shot clock violation coming out of that. Strickland off of the miss. Lindsay Whalen back on the floor for the Lynx. Sarah made reference earlier to, we have to refer to her now as Coach Whalen, the new head coach at the University of Minnesota, as Moore steps down the lane, scoops it up too hard.
Well, in Maya Moore, before we get to Coach Whalen, Maya Moore just 2 of 9 from the field. A big reason that the Lynx are shooting under 37%. They've got 7 fast break points, but other than that, the Sun have been doing a very good job of making catches tough, making shots tough, and Maya Moore we know can go off at any time, but Connecticut so far making sure to really key in on making things challenging.
That's Courtney Williams who leans in, knocks it down, and she now has 15, and the Sun have their largest lead of 5. Courtney Williams now is 7 for 9 from the field.
She got a big fan club in the front row right next to us here.
Yeah, you can hear him. Fouls is held. Jonquel Jones picks up her 2nd. Sun started their big lineup today. Jones a part of that lineup, and one of the reasons you start a big lineup against this team is you got to contain players like Fouls, and right now Fouls has sent Jones to the bench with her 2nd. Shoots over Chiney Agwumike. Crowd wanted a foul there. Thomas streaks past fouls, reverse no good. Hits the deck, she'll get right up.
Jasmine Thomas, and we've seen this out of Courtney Williams, just has an extra gear. Watch her, there are last two steps to get around fouls, draw the foul, try for the finish. And that's where, when you start talking about the Connecticut Sun as being a potential contender, they can play big, they can play small. They've got size, they've got quickness. But here's the head of the snake, and for as much as they have balance across the lineup and everyone is integral to what they do, Jasmine Thomas makes things go. She makes the offense easier because she puts players in position and understands the balance of looking to score and looking to facilitate.
Lindsay Whalen to skip past to Jones. Whalen gets it back. Three-pointer. Rims in and out. Thomas the rebound. The Sun like to play downhill. Here they come. Touch pass from Jasmine Thomas to Courtney Williams. Didn't go for the tip. Does go. What a spectacular sequence for the Sun. And they lead it by 7. And a timeout is called by Cheryl Reed. Shanae Agumake somehow snuck in among all the bodies and managed to tip that one home. But what a pass it was that set it all up. We'll get another look when we come back. But right here, the Sun lead it by 7 with 3:43 to go in the half. Well, Sarah, we may have plays that are better than this one this year, but I don't know how.
Put it on the highlight reel. I mean, that touch pass by Jasmine Thomas to recognize Courtney Williams trailing behind her, and then Shanae Agumake with the cleanup. And I don't think I saw a bigger smile out of anyone of that group than Courtney Williams when she saw Agumake coming up to help out a teammate and put that in. But that's the synergy of this group.
Augustus comes up short on the reverse layup attempt. The Sun lead it by 9 as Alyssa Thomas bounces underneath. Whistle blows before the pass.
And Alyssa Thomas, when she gets a defensive rebound, track shoes are on, and she has got everyone filling in the wings. And between Courtney Williams, Jasmine Thomas, Shakina running, and Alyssa Thomas's handles just continue to improve.
The Sun are on an 11-0 run here to go up by 9. Turnover. Moore took it away, and here is Whalen. Minnesota hasn't scored in about 3 minutes in this game as Whalen misses, fouls, doesn't. So the 11-0 Connecticut run is over. Sun by 7, winding it down here. What has been an entertaining first half of basketball from the Mohegan Sun. Jasmine Thomas has a great look, a little too strong. Fouls, yanks down the rebound, her 4th to go along with 6 points. Maya Moore just 2 for 9 from the field, 2 for 10. Courtney Williams always around the ball, and that time she is fouled on the trip up the floor, and that'll mean free throws for Courtney Williams.
The assertiveness of Alyssa Thomas, though, on that rebound to go after it. She understood that the ball was coming right to the hands of Sylvia Fowles, who has a couple inches on her, but she went up hard to try and pull the ball out of her reach, and that's what kick-started things.
That's one of the rare misses today for Courtney Williams. What a game she's having. 7 for 10, 15 points, game high number. And that was the first free throw miss of the day for the Sun. They had made 8 in a row. They didn't shoot their free throws well the other night in New York, and they still managed to get the win. It was 14 for 24 the other night in that win against the Liberty. Fouls off of the spin.
And Agumake doing what she can, but when Fowles gets that deep, she's got excellent touch around the basket.
Fowles now has 8. Williams, 15-point first half. Whalen picks up Jasmine Thomas on the perimeter. Alyssa Thomas barreling in. Whalen, nice poke, knocked it loose. Minnesota the steal. Jones feeding it for fouls. Mill has 6 straight points for Minnesota. And here come the Lynx. And here comes a timeout for Kurt Miller. You knew that Kurt would jump off of the bench after that last fouls bucket, as now the tide has turned. The Sun went on an 11-0 run. They were playing great defense, but you have an MVP on the floor in Sylvia Fowles, and Minnesota is playing through her right now.
6'6", 220 MVP who finds her way right to the front of the cup, and that was in transition in the open court. The Minnesota Lynx make sure to balance the floor and pass so well to advance the ball. But to your point about Fowles, she understands how to make sure that she hangs around the rim, and Chinea Gumake trying to work her. She's shown in front, she's played from behind, but with the extra inches and with her ability to use her footwork to get good looks around the basket, she is just absolutely dominant in those areas.
This is game 1 of a lengthy 2-game homestand for the Connecticut Sun. They don't have many home games in this early part of the season, but the next one is at home. It'll be Wednesday against the Washington Mystics. Washington is one of the teams that Connecticut beat on their recent road trip. They went 3-1 on the trip. As mentioned, a 2-game homestand, then right back on the road for their next 5. Then they come home and play Indiana, and then go right back on the road.
And this schedule is an absolute bear, and it is for all the teams. But that's why today becomes so important, because it's an afternoon game, so you'll have Sunday off. So you get tonight off, you get a good day off to rest. You can get back to the practice floor, to the film session, get ready Monday to clean up some of the things from the road trip and from today, and then, to your point, quickly turn around and get ready for Elena Deladon, who's back with the Mystics. It is going to be a team that you want to make sure to be ready for.
Alyssa Thomas working on fouls, and foul underneath. Second foul on Sylvia Fowles. Thomas took a good knock here.
And I'm not sure if it looked like her knee twisted a little bit. She definitely grabbed the left knee after she went down on it. And there was contact with the body. I'm not sure if there was any knee-to-knee contact.
Mentioned that the Sun did not shoot free throws very well the other night. Alyssa Thomas had 4 misses in that game against New York. Drills home the first one here. Sun by 5. They've led by as many as 9. A little more than a minute to go here in the first half. Fowles in good position, didn't finish. Looks like they're going to call a foul. And you hear the crowd react. Late whistle. Gumake picks up the foul. That would be her 3rd, I believe. We'll double check on that as you get another look at what was a late whistle there.
And that's a tough call there, because the Gumake working fouls initially, to your point about the late whistle. And Jasmine Thomas, Chinea Gumake stating their case.
Well, on top of it all, got the technical as well.
Yep.
Well, the crowd's into it, aren't they? The crowd's fired up.
They are. They have been active, energetic, passionate. And that's where it's the frustration from players like Gumake, considering, 1, the foul situation, but 2, it is not easy to make Sylvia Fowles miss when she is that close to the basket. And so you feel like you got the job done, made it just tough enough, and yet she finds herself on the line.
The technical was on Chinea Gumake, and you know she's got to be pretty upset to get called for a tee.
And Gumake going back over to ask, Isaac Barnett if he looked at the scoreboard to rewatch the replay. I'm not sure he did.
Well, they come away with 3 misses after all that. So the Sun continue to lead the game by 5. Great atmosphere. This is like a playoff atmosphere this afternoon between a couple of teams that very well could be in the postseason. Another whistle with a loose ball foul.
There's an intensity. There's an atmosphere that's at an elevated level, and I love because you've got 2 coaches that have their team understanding just how important each games are. This may be the early portion of the season, but we know how it matters once you get towards the end of the year. A championship caliber team, the defending champs in the Minnesota Lynx, understand that. And the Connecticut Sun certainly do. They're sitting on top of the WNBA with a 6-1 record, but last season they started out and they struggled, and they did an excellent job in finishing things up towards the end of the season. But now their goals have elevated. Now they want to achieve more. Now they understand playoff positioning, and that it's not just about what they do in August, but June matters.
Jasmine Thomas fouled by Whalen after Brunson made 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. By the way, Shanae Gwumake going back a couple of plays, did pick up 3 fouls, so she ends this first half on the bench. As you see, Jasmine Thomas fouled there by Whalen. Jasmine, a 70% free throw shooter on the season, makes the first one here. Sun looking to improve to 7-1. It would be their first 7-1 start in 12 years. And they have a 6-point lead. A little more than a half a minute to go in this first half. Fouls in good position. Another late whistle there for the miss. Brianna Jones picks up that foul, and as if this crowd couldn't get even more fired up, well, they have.
I'll be curious to see this one again. Now, Brianna Jones jumps out so quickly. I'm not sure if she bodied a little bit from behind, but once again, that's tough. And Jones was behind fouls, and she tries to come around the front and shoot the gap to deny that pass, and fouls almost was so far under the basket, it seemed like she just short-armed it. So for Brianna Jones, for Chinea Gwumake, it comes down to when you feel like you've done the job that almost feels impossible to get fouls to miss when she's right around the basket. You hate seeing her then get an opportunity at the line.
Fouls now has 12. Sun by 4. Virtually no different shot clock, game clock here. Courtney Williams has had the big first half. 16 points for the Sun as we wind it down here. Williams backs up, shoots, side rim. And there's a Minnesota foul. And so with 1.1 seconds remaining in the half, the Sun will have an opportunity here to get the final points of the half in the person of Brianna Jones.
Well, I like what Courtney Williams did in that possession there. The ball stayed in her hands, but she had the mismatch with fouls out on her on the perimeter. Was very smart about letting the clock wind down and put the shot up just enough so there was time for an offensive rebound, but not so there was an opportunity for the Lynx to have another possession.
Jones now 6 for 7 on the season from the foul line. 7 for 8. A second to go. As we get ready to hit the horn here, the half, the pass goes ahead for Jones. Didn't get off the shot in time, and the first half has come to an end. And the Connecticut Sun, looking to remain perfect at home this season, have a 6-point lead in what has been a fun afternoon of basketball so far at the Mohegan Sun. We've had 5 lead changes in this game. We've been tied 9 times. And the Sun lead it here at the half by 6, 44-38. Big first half for the Connecticut Sun's Courtney Williams. And return home now to play New York. The Sun play Washington on Wednesday, then back on the road. Wednesday will begin a stretch, another one of those nutty stretches for the Sun where they'll play 7 games in 14 days, and 5 of the 7 on the road.
I'm getting tired just thinking about that, Bob. But that's, I mean, again, it goes back to physically being ready, but also mentally. I mean, how much you need to make sure to be engaged in the team you're playing, the game plan you're getting ready for, all the scouting and the film work that goes into it. It's a lot.
Augustus, late in the shot clock, misses the 3. Now the Sun try to build on this lead. They've led by as many as 9. Courtney Williams has 16 to lead all scorers, and that was a bad pass. Moore, the steal. Almost had to take it away, but nice ball handling there by Maya. And the Lynx set it up with Augustus driving right past Courtney Williams. Off of the miss, Alyssa Thomas. She leads the charge. Sun like to push it. Jasmine Thomas will get her team into the offense here. Just underway in the second half. Williams open 3. One of her rare misses. Chene Gwumike with 3 fouls to start this second half. Couldn't handle that ball on the floor. Now Minnesota gets it back. Sun did a great defensive job in that first half, Sarah, holding Minnesota to just 35% from the field.
Well, and we're seeing that early on. They're making even some shots around the rim very difficult.
Shot clock again winding down. Moore has to fire. Offensive rebound, Rebecca Brunson.
And that's where you got to be careful with this team, giving them second chance opportunities when you get a good contest and you make them miss.
They outscored Washington the other night 20-0 in second chance opportunities, and here's 3 from Moore.
Well, so you make Moore miss the first time, an early challenge, a tough shot, but then Brunson allows her another look. She likely won't miss twice in a row.
Well, Courtney Williams hasn't missed more than a couple in a row today. She now is 8 for 14 from the field. She has a game-high 18, and the Sun lead it by 5. She has been feeling it from the jump. Lindsay Whalen played 6 years here in Connecticut, where she began her career. That's a nice pass for foul. Extra pass, tossed it away. Well, we mentioned not many turnovers in this game. It was only the second of the day for the Lynx.
And they aren't often going to beat themselves, but what you see out of both of these teams, which is what's so impressive, because often it looks like bad passes or bad, but both of these teams are in such good position defensively. Early help, early contests, and now cleaning up the glass on the push.
Tanisha Wright, nice pass ahead for Moore. Moore with that speed getting down the floor, and Tanisha Wright right in stride.
Considering how poorly the Minnesota Lynx shot in the first half, that was a big area of their strength, their ability to push in the open court, run the break, and get some easy buckets.
Difficult shot there by Gwumike. Moore has it taken away by Alyssa Thomas. Nobody to beat, lays it home.
Some quick hands by Thomas.
So Maya Moore had scored the first 5 of the half for Minnesota. Whittled that Sun lead down to 3. A little more breathing room again for the Sun. Wright, 3. Good. Tanisha Wright with her 8th make of the season from behind the stripe on 11 attempts.
And Tanisha Wright's a player we had mentioned in the first half. She rested last season, didn't play. Now with a new team here in the Lynx, you imagine that she's continuing to feel her way through.
Moore, beautiful steal, finishes. Maya Moore is coming to life here in the second half, and we have a tie game at 48, and Moore has 7 of her 12 here in the second half. Ball's live and lost. Alyssa Thomas says no, but Jeff Smith says yes to Minnesota. Lynx ball. Well, here we are again. This is our 10th tie of the day.
Well, it's because both of these teams are making sure to get stops, and both of them have had stretches of whether it's getting easy looks for the Lynx in transition or in the paint. For the Connecticut Sun, working their mid-range game. They've had some important three-point shots, but defensively, it's where these teams are getting the job done.
Fouls overpowering Ogwumike, who, remember, has 3 fouls, and fouls gives the Lynx the lead. Minnesota back on top of the game. They trail by as many as 9. Maya Moore has 12, and the Lynx by 2. Well, the Connecticut Sun have led by as many as 9, but the Lynx are back on top by a couple, and one of the reasons right there, Maya Moore is getting it done early here in the second half.
I'm not sure we have enough room on the screen for all of the accomplishments of Maya Moore, and take a look at through the years what she's done, and last year winning her 4th WNBA title, and the last 7 years the cornerstone of this team. And to your point, 12 points, and Connecticut Sun held her to just 5 points at the half. But Bob, you brought this up. Rebecca Brunson gets a second chance opportunity for more. She sees ones go through the basket, and now it feels like she's starting to get her rhythm, and that's a scary thing with a player of her talent.
Let's take a look at that last play. Did the foul come before the shot? And they're going to take another look. And it's a Minnesota foul, and we'll have a replay break here. They have not posted the points, and based on that replay, I don't think they will be posting any points.
Thank you, Isaac.
And you just heard one of our 3 officials.
Appreciate him.
Isaac Barnett comes over, and not only was he helpful, he speaks in a real clear, deep voice, and I think our audience heard him.
He said we could wave him down at any point in the game, and Minister, I need some help with my judgment calls. So no, the refereeing crew here today and throughout the season do such an incredible job, and it is not easy.
No, and it's not easy here today because this crowd is into this game, and a lot of the calls that this crowd has disagreed with, they have let those 3 officials know about it, but that's par for the course in this league, and especially here in Connecticut where the fans are so passionate. They have great fans, of course, in Minnesota as well, and they've been treated to 4 championships. You're talking about the arrival of Maya Moore and how things changed. She was one of the building blocks for this team, and they've had many of them. It started way back in '06 with Simone Augustus. Rebecca Brunson arrived in the dispersal draft in '09. Lindsay Whalen arrived right before Cheryl Reeve was hired. That was a nice convergence there. A future coach and a great point guard, one of the greatest in the history of this league, and Cheryl Reeve, a great coach. But really, the crystallizing moment was when Maya Moore arrived. And you may have just heard Isaac Barnett again confirm what we thought we saw. The foul came before the basket. No hoop there for the Sun.
And to your point about that with Cheryl Reeve, and you look at so many of these players, the continuity that they're able to have, and for any organization that builds a culture, builds an identity, that makes such a difference.
Well, the Sun come away with nothing on the trip. Here's Danielle Robinson in the game, and one of the new members to the Lynx makes it a 4-point lead. It is all Minnesota in this third quarter. 14-4, they've outscored Connecticut in the quarter. Ogwumike's fouled by fouls. That'll be the 3rd foul on Sylvia Fowles. So you got Ogwumike with 3 and Sylvia with 3.
Beautiful job by Ogwumike. Look at her getting position. She holds off fouls while still going up for that offensive rebound. And this goes back to weathering the storm with a team like the Minnesota Lynx, because they can go inside, they can pound it in the post, they can get some easy looks from fouls. And they also have a lot of different weapons on the floor, but for the Sun, just continuing to pound at their own game, grind along with them, and move them offensively. And that's where they do so well with their versatility of the ball movement, the body movement, and a roster like the Lynx that some of these players are getting older. You try and wear them down.
Jasmine Thomas was pleading her case after knocking it away from Robinson. That free throw made by Agumike ended a 9-0 run for Minnesota. They lead it by 3. Lynx are 3-5. They didn't suffer their 5th loss last year until August the 16th. Sun get it back here. Thomas for Agumike, steps right down the lane, pass right, lays it in. 1-point game.
How do you like that out of Agumike? First at the other end of the floor, the quick hands to get the steal in the first place. That's some beautiful steps getting herself around the defender to the basket.
Or Brunson defended well, throws it out. Contact, players go down. Alyssa Thomas and Sylvia Fowles collided. And they're going to call it a 3-second violation on Fowles after a lot of bumping and grinding inside. You see Alyssa Thomas trying to run it off. She got banged in the knees.
Yeah, she's got a toughness about her. And Alyssa Thomas, that's what's been fun to see here. She moved from the 3 to the 4 last year, and now she's having an opportunity to work the 4 and the 3 as well.
Alex Bentley knocks down the jumper, and after the Sun had trailed by 4, they have come back with a runner of their own, leading to a Minnesota timeout. So Alex Bentley's jumper gives the Sun the 1-point lead, 53-52. And timeout called by Minnesota is a quick timeout with 3:59 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Sun home today, home on Wednesday, and then pack the bags. Time to hit the road again for the Connecticut Sun.
Well, and you look at the challenge of this, and it's not only that you're on the road for such a long stretch, but these are some tough teams. I mean, you go out to Seattle, the talent that they have, the way that they've been playing, then you're at Phoenix, then you go back to Atlanta, of course, a team that got you there just a few games ago, at Indiana, Washington, and then you come home for Indiana, and this league just continues to improve. Every team is such a challenging matchup. There's such a level of parity in teams that are either towards the top or continuing to get better. So it's not just about the road schedule and being away, but also the competition that you have to face.
And Seattle's 2nd best record behind the Sun right now. They're 6-2. Phoenix is the hottest team right now. They have won 4 in a row, and that's a turnover on Fowles coming out of that timeout. They ran a play for her, and she turned it over. So the Sun with the 1-point lead get it back. 5th turnover against Minnesota. 4 of them have come in this 3rd quarter. Sun by a point, trying to grind one out against Minnesota. Strickland, Thomas, Shakina, 3-pointer. Agumike had it, lost it. Robinson almost lost it. Moore into the foul circle, lost it. Bentley the steal. A foul on the trip up the floor. Wright reached in. Well, we mentioned how there were a few turnovers against Minnesota in the first half, but they're making up for that here in the 3rd quarter.
And the combination of Chiney Agumike and Alyssa Thomas, you see Bentley reaching in, the collapse of the defense, clogging up the paint, and then Bentley does a good job on the push. But everyone is active in understanding where the ball is at and how they can step in to try and help.
Fowles has 7 rebounds to go with 12 points. A 3-point attempt way off as Jasmine finds Alyssa. The trailer, Strickland, here's a 3. It's good. Shakina Strickland, a 3-pointer, and the Sun lead it by 4.
It doesn't matter what Shakina Strickland has been doing throughout the course of the game. She's got a confidence, a quickness in her release. And credit Alyssa Thomas getting the ball in the middle of the floor and knowing that Strickland was behind her to deliver that pass.
Off of the spin. Shot by Moore. Off of the mark. The Sun on another run. Trying to continue the run, and mission accomplished. And another timeout. Actually, no, it's going to be a technical foul called on Minnesota on the bench. Jasmine Thomas takes the delivery.
This finish is special. Going into Danielle Robinson, releasing high enough over Maya Moore. There's a lot of contact on that play, and Jasmine Thomas with the concentration and body control to get it through.
Well, they called it a technical foul on the Sun and on Thomas. So that was my bad. I thought they were looking at the Minnesota bench, but obviously something was said there that says more than a line to shoot the technical and the miss. I don't know what Alyssa could have been upset about, but regardless, the technical free throw is missed. This is a 10-0 Connecticut run. So this third quarter, after we went back and forth in that first half with all those lead changes and ties, this third quarter has featured two big runs, one for each team.
Well, and the Lynx came out and they did a very good job of pounding it inside, understanding that some of their bread and butter plays are going to be to last year's MVP and Sylvia Fowles, but Connecticut adjusted. They've swallowed things up in the middle of the floor, and they've found ways to score on the other end, in large part thanks to their ball movement.
Shot clock is down to 5 for Minnesota. Robinson off of the miss, and the rebound chased down by Strickland after Jasmine Thomas kept it alive. Here is Thomas into the front court. Strickland trailing. Strickland three. Strickland hits again. And the Sun lead it by 9, matching their largest lead. And this time it is a Minnesota timeout.
The quickness in the catch, turn, square the shoulders, and release. Watch this. She doesn't even think twice, understands the defender's coming from the left. The enthusiasm and passion you see out of Shekinna Strickland and her teammates to follow, but just a beautiful play by the Connecticut Sun. And what we saw there out of that possession, Jasmine Thomas kicking it out to Strickland. There was no one more excited, I think, than Jasmine Thomas in that finish. But you see the teammates surrounding Strickland, and it was a game winner, a buzzer beater, and drawing the foul. But that confidence carries over, and that's a large part of the chemistry of this group, how they play for one another, how they look for one another in critical parts of the game. And they all believe that their teammate's going to make the big shot, because each of them have had moments where they have stepped up and hit timely buckets for this group, and that was a timely bucket in order to try and close out this quarter with the type of momentum that they picked up midway through.
Shekinna Strickland and Jasmine Thomas said they literally connected with eye contact on that play. And, you know, that only comes when you've been around a while and you develop that kind of trust in each other, and resulted in the first 4-point play to end the game in WNBA history. Out of the timeout, here's Minnesota trying to end a big-time Connecticut run. Second chance opportunity. And the baseline jumper is knocked down by the rookie out of France, ending Niem. So the 13-0 run for the Sun is over. 7-point Connecticut lead. A little more than a minute to go in the third quarter. Bentley, entry pass to Gwumake, a beauty of a pass. Bentley delivers, Gwumake finishes, and the Sun again by 9.
Did an excellent job of finding where the best post entry was, working the high-low, but it started getting it to the wing. And that's the movement, because Minnesota rotates and communicates so well on their switches and help. But the Connecticut Sun are finding ways to shift them and getting the quick pass inside.
Strickland picks up that foul. That's only her first. So Cecilia Zandalicini, second-year pro out of Italy, to the line. So the Sun went on a big run after they had fallen behind by as many as 4. The 13-0 run. Now the Lynx are trying to chip away here late in the third quarter. Under a minute to go in quarter 3. Rachel Banham in the game now. Strickland, they pick her up on the perimeter. That's a long 2, and she hits it and celebrates again. So Shakina Strickland, after a couple of long threes, long distance from 2. And the Sun again lead it by 9, matching their largest lead. Ball gets knocked loose, belongs to Minnesota. So Shakina Strickland has really come alive here in this third quarter. She has been the integral factor in this third quarter run for the Sun. Has all her points in the third quarter, all 8 of them, and that's a turnover on Daniel Lassini. We're going to go back to the other end, shot clock off, and the Sun will have an opportunity for the first time today to get this lead into double digits.
And Bob, both ends of the floor work in tandem for the way you feel. When you're a shooter, you're making shots. We saw that nice play there of some pressure by Strickland that forced the turnover and forced the travel. But now there's an extra step of bounce and energy in this Sun team.
Nice pass to Akwumake, and she hits, and she was fouled. It leads to another Sun celebration as Alyssa Thomas found Akwumake inside.
And look at Alyssa Thomas as she continues to drive past Alexis Jones. That forces the help from Sylvia Fowles. And Thomas smart enough to understand that if she can engage, draw on that second defender, draw the big help from Fowles, that her teammate is going to be open for the delivery.
A nice finish there for the Connecticut Sun. Shakina Strickland had all 8 of her points in this third quarter. This is one of her 2 threes in the quarter. And the Sun with a lead at the end of 3. Well, the Connecticut Sun have a double-digit lead on the defending champions as we get ready to start this fourth quarter. And it's been another solid afternoon for Chiney Akwumake for the second time in her career. Sarah, she's putting up good numbers in an attempt to become the comeback player of the year. 2016
comeback player of the year after she missed 2015, rehabbing that right knee microfracture surgery. Of course, we know she missed 2017, rehabbing that Achilles injury. But as we saw, they're second in the league in field goal percentage. So she's not only putting up points, she's not only rebounding the basketball, defensive presence, but she is efficient from the inside. And it's been fun to watch how she continues to acclimate herself and play next to a Jonquel Jones, how she can play the 5 position and anchor things inside if the Sun want to play small. And she's just got such an activity and energy to her that certainly is a leadership quality for this team. But you love being around her, and it's that type of character that adds to the culture of what this group has become.
After Bentley kissed one home, Maya Moore 3, 10-point Connecticut lead. Akwumake left alone off of the marks. Moore now has 15 for the Lynx. Jones in traffic, right, good dish inside for Fowles. That was a pretty look from Tanisha Wright.
And Tanisha Wright has been impressive today. She's a player who will continue to find her footing, both back playing in the league.
Well, when she lets it go now, Shakina Strickland pretty much, you can just close her eyes.
A heat check soon.
After Strickland hit the 3, Moore misses the 3. Ball gets poked loose, and it'll stay at the Minnesota end. But Strickland now has 3 threes. She has 11 points, all in the second half.
We know Shakina Strickland can shoot this way. She shot over 41% from the three-point line last season. But Bob is a player coming off of that game winner, a buzzer beater, the first in her entire career at any level. That gives you a little bit more juice. It gives you more feel for the basketball. And I certainly hope, and we're seeing it here today, she just can continue to build on that. And again, it goes back to the impressive nature of the group, because that was the first game that she came off the bench. She had been starting the season. Kurt Miller decides to go big. Jonquel Jones starts inside. Of course, Jonquel Jones didn't join the team until late in training camp and right before the start of the regular season. But Strickland took it in stride, and that's what this team is built about.
Off of the three-point miss by Wright. They keep it alive underneath, and this will be a three-point opportunity for Sylvia. Foul. So goes to the line after being fouled on that putback attempt.
And as we're talking about the great looks and great production for this Sun team up to this point, this game is far from over. The Minnesota Lynx, they're trying to get everything recalibrated for this group. Are they panicked about their record? Absolutely not. But they want to start trending in the direction of finding ways to win. And every player on this floor has an opportunity to be such a presence offensively. So for the Sun, you got to be very careful not to get too comfortable with the lead that you have, given how much time is left in this ball game.
Minnesota is 3-5. As mentioned earlier, they didn't have their 5th loss last year until the middle of August. Avoid a 3-6 start. Sun trying to improve to 7-1 for the first time in a dozen years. They're trying to remain perfect at home. 3 games at the Mohegan Sun so far, and 3 Sun victories. Up by 8 here. Under 8 to go in the game. Right, no look. Mia misses the long jumper. Fouls, has another offensive rebound, and fouls. Is fouled again to go back to the line after a few moments ago converting on the conventional three-point play.
And fouls, she's so strong, and of course she's a player who you got to be concerned about her height, but it's also her length. It's her strides. It's her ability to, if she doesn't have deep position, depending on where she catches the ball, she can put it on the floor, or she can take one step and cover so much ground to get herself right at the front of the basket.
Sinead Gwumike picked up that foul, and Sinead now has 4. Here's the reigning MVP. Making 1 out of 2. Gwumike has the rebound, and the Sun lead it by 7 with plenty of time remaining. Trying to close it out against the defending champs. Thomas, tough shot. Gwumike, the putback, had it knocked away underneath. Moore was there, so was Fouls. Fouls gets it ahead. And the foul on Connecticut as Alexis Jones was chopped up from behind. And this game is far from over. The Sun led it by 13 to start the quarter. They led by 11. Then it was a quick 13-point lead for the Sun after Bentley opened the scoring here in the 4th quarter. But Minnesota's chipping away. 9-3 run since the Sun were up by 13. Jasmine Thomas trying to fight through the screen. And look at this. Sun already with 14 fouls, 7:08 to go in the quarter.
And that's where you get concerned, because the Lynx have not been converting at that high of a rate from the free throw line, but the last thing you want to do is have it be a parade as you finish out the game.
A big make there for Moore. Misfires. Thomas fires right back on the other end, and a long 2 from Jasmine Thomas. And the Sun again by 9.
And I don't know if Fouls lost her footing or thought she was going to slip, but she almost looked down. Was afraid something might have happened to her knees or ankle, but she didn't even move on that play. So a great open look for Jasmine Thomas.
Moore loses the dribble. Up for grabs, and we're going to have a foul during the scramble. And then want to take a look at this one. We were a little screened out. That play transpired right in front of us, but we were kind of screened out by some of the fans. So they're going to go to the replay on this one, and let's take another look at what went down here.
And Thomas gets on the ground to try and pass it out. And Maya Moore is calling for a foul on Thomas. Thomas, though, turning over to try and get up. Their legs clearly tangled. Coming up, knowing that you have a day off tomorrow, a night tonight after the game, a day off tomorrow before you get back at it. This becomes even more important to try and get yourself in position, given the fact that you're in this situation with the lead. But the Minnesota Lynx, going back to what they're trying to put together, they've got all the tools in place, but now it's just about trying to come away with those W's. And they've had some buzzer beaters, some close games.
And here comes Well, you just got the flagrant foul indication there. If we can get another look at it, you'll see what Isaac Barnett describes as a deliberate grab of the ankles of Maya Moore here. Take a look. Let's see, Alyssa Thomas.
And it's that right arm, and what was seen in what this referee crew said, it was that right arm deliberately grabbing the leg of Maya Moore as she turned, and that's what they felt upgraded that common foul to be a flagrant. And that's a big call. It changes the complexion now. You got a 7-point game here for the Lynx, and as they continue to look to chip away, you know, you have benchmarkers as you move down, and now a 7-point game, you know, 3-possession game, it becomes a little bit more tangible here with still 6.5 minutes left.
So Alyssa Thomas, the foul, and a flagrant foul on top of that, and so free throws made, possession for Minnesota. Now we're going to go the other way. Jeff Smith has the call on the other side. Tanisha Wright gets called on the hole. 7-point game in what has become an emotion-charged game. The fans have been in it from the start, and these two teams obviously
Bob, I love this because these players are playing, and they are playing hard. They're going at one another.
Jasmine Thomas has it swatted away by Moore, but Agumake gets it back, and she finishes for the Sun. So again, lead it by 9 with 6:05 to go. Second chance opportunities for the Sun against a great defensive rebounding team. Shot clock is down to 5. Jones driving on Jones. The dish from Meehan, more than 5 to go. Jones lines up a 3 and puts it through. Jonquel Jones with her second 3 of the game, and the Sun lead it by an even dozen.
She's moving her feet like a guard on one end, and she's stroking it from the 3-point line as well.
Fouls, has to get rid of it. Here is Wright, has it knocked away. Jones got a piece of it. It'll be Minnesota ball, but it'll be after a break. Jonquel Jones to 3. We're back after this. Jasmine Thomas came into this game with exactly 800 assists for her career, and now another milestone bucket right there for Chineye Agumake. Gets her to 11 points and exactly 1,000 points for her career, and 199 have now done it.
Big time, considering she's just in her 4th season in the WNBA, and 11 points. Also, she's got a double-double already. She's got 10 rebounds. We spoke at the start of this game about the balance of the Sun team. They've got 5 players in double figures, and Agumake and Alyssa Thomas both have 10 rebounds apiece. Everyone's chipping in. Everyone's doing something.
5 players in double figures for the Sun, which is not unusual. 6 players average double figures. This is one of them, Alyssa Thomas. She is the team's leading scorer, and that bucket extends the lead for Connecticut. It's now a 14-point advantage for the Sun with under 5 minutes to play. Thomas now has 7. And a turnover. Fouls couldn't handle the pass. Thomas behind the back bounce for Williams. Needs a wall, so gives it up. Reset for the Sun. Time is on their side. Williams. Baseline jump. Back rims it. Nice hustle by Alyssa Thomas. Reset for Williams. This time she knocks it down, and the Sun are starting to run away. A timeout called by Minnesota. 4:12 to go.
It was just about 2 minutes ago that this Lynx team cut the lead down to 7, but it is patience and persistence of the Connecticut Sun that's opened it up once again.
Well, the Sun have broken this game open. It's not over. 4:12 to go, but the Sun on another one of their runs. They've had some big runs in the second half. 13 unanswered in the third quarter. Right now, 9 unanswered points to build up this 16-point lead.
Getting stops, steals on the defensive end. It's allowed them to push the pace some, get things going in transition. Almost had another opportunity there, and also a couple second chance looks. And it was those possessions that if they've missed a few shots around the inside, they've gotten some cleanups by both the Agumake. Courtney Williams finished off one from Alyssa Thomas. But it's, again, this balance from the team, everyone playing a role, playing a part, that now has them up 16.
And how about the energy from this Sun team that's playing for the 5th time in 7 days? I know they're home, and that gives you a little bit of an extra boost, but it doesn't look like anybody's tired.
Well, and that goes back to, you credit the job. I mean, you look at who's on the bench now. The job Shakina Strickland did throughout the course of this game. Rachel Banham came in, a couple valuable minutes. Alex Bentley, of course. So Brianna Jones at the end of that half. So Kurt Miller doing just an excellent job of piecemealing who's coming in, who's been productive, who's doing, you know, their job on the floor as a reserve unit, but also giving some breathers to this starting unit that now can be fresh down these final minutes of the game.
Courtney Williams has 20, her first 20-point game of this season. Shot clock is down to 3, so Jasmine Thomas lets it go, and Jasmine Thomas hits 85-69 Connecticut. And Thomas now has 18. What a day for the Sun starting backcourt. Xander Lucini, that's a 3. This game is not over.
No, plenty of time, and especially for a team like the Lynx.
You want some evidence? How about a couple of years ago? The Sun were down by 11 with under 2 minutes to go in regulation against Minnesota. Ended up winning that game in overtime. So, don't put this one in the books just yet. Jonquel Jones to Thomas off of the heave. Agumake. And then fouls, threw it away. She had a couple of turnovers like that. She was looking for Whalen, but Minnesota's been a little sloppy in this second half, especially compared to the first.
Well, even in that last offensive possession, though, Bob, I love the fact that there was so much ball movement running out using the entire shot clock for the Sun. They're continuing to move and shift and make Minnesota work on defense, wear them out, tire them down. And so that helps, because when you're playing with a lead, you want to continue to put pressure on the defense, and they've done an excellent job of balancing that.
Well, you may have heard our very astute fans inside the Mohegan Sun Arena cheer that last foul call on Minnesota. It was their first of this quarter, and the fans were very aware of that. Not as concerned, though, because you have a double-digit lead. Alyssa Thomas will try to make it 1 out of 2 here. Nope. Fouls and Agumake battling. Lead pass right. That would have been a big layup there and 2 points for the Lynx, but it gets away. And their chances are dwindling as Courtney Williams is fouled and will go to the line. Came very close to a possible 3-point play. Maya Moore looks like she was a little frustrated on that foul. It was a pretty hard knock on Courtney Williams. These two teams will meet 3 times. They will meet again here at the Mohegan Sun Arena, next to last home game of the season for the Sun. There's going to be a lot riding on that game. In fact, the Sun end the regular season at home against the 2 finalists of last year. Minnesota, the next to last, and then in the last regular season home game, it'll be the Los Angeles Sparks. Courtney Williams with 22 points. Her career high is 27. This is a season high for her. The pass is tipped out of bounds, and they talk it over, and it belongs to Minnesota with 2:19 to go.
In that tip on that pass, Jasmine Thomas, we speak so much about her running the offense, the facilitation, her scoring mentality. She is a stalwart on the defensive end. I mean, she gets around screens, she fights, she moves, she's quick, she shoots the gaps. And that feeds into everyone and how this team plays on that end.
Courtney Williams yanks down another rebound. She has 4 to go along with the 22 points. 15-point Sun lead, under 2 to go. Jones in traffic has it knocked away.
And that was excellent help by Tanisha Wright, stepping over quickly.
Looking for the tie-up. We got it. Talking about that energy the Sun are displaying all afternoon as they play for the 5th time in 7 days, and all the players are looking forward to tomorrow. They all talked about that in practice yesterday. We want to take care of business on Saturday and have a Sunday all to ourselves.
Bob, it always feels better to have a day off after a win, because the last thing you want is to be replaying in your mind all the things that you could have done to get a win, especially when you're back and playing on your home floor in front of your home fans.
Miem misses. Loose ball foul. Morgan Tuck and Lynetta Kaiser, former teammates here in Connecticut, get tangled up. Kaiser on the foul. 91 seconds to go, and it's Jasmine Thomas getting a big hand as she leaves the game with to make the 19 points today. Tuck driving, putting it up off the run. Lexi Brown in the game, and so is Benijah Laney, and she has that shot rejected.
Good activity, trying to get a second chance look. And these players getting minutes, this is valuable for them as they continue to try and get their feet wet in the NBA. Laney coming back from injury. Lexi Brown, of course, as she continues to show off her skills and acclimate herself to the WNBA, to the level of play, to the speed of play. And she is a promising young talent that's going to be fun to watch.
So the Sun allowed with this big lead a chance to clear the bench here at the end of the game. Under a minute to play. And Robinson threw it away. That kind of sums up how it's gone in the second half here for Minnesota. Second half started well for the Lynx. They went on a 14-4 run to take a 4-point lead. But then the Sun with the knockout punch, as it turned out, 13 unanswered points. Shakina Strickland had a couple of threes during that run.
Well, and this Sun team has learned how to play down. I mean, that New York Liberty win that they came back and Shakina Strickland hits at the buzzer, they were down in that fourth quarter. So that gives you confidence of understanding we've been in this position before. We're not going to panic, and we know how to chip away at a deficit.
Miem hits the 3. Sun trying to go over 90 points. They averaged 93 per game. On top of the WNBA. Laney for Bantam. Minnesota native misses. And now we count it down. 5 seconds to go, and the Sun are going to remain perfect at home as Bantam, off of the scramble, watches it harmlessly head toward the sideline as the Sun head to the locker room following another win. They are now 4-0 at home. Perfect at home. They are 7-1 overall. First time they've started this season 7-1 in 12 years. The backcourt was great today for the Sun. Their starting backcourt combined for 40. Courtney Williams had 22 and Jasmine Thomas had 18. The Sun knock off the defending champions 89.